Voila, it's time to eat. First of all, what do you guys think about everything that you have in front of you? Have you tasted yet?
Oh, no, let me get.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
And can you tell that this is a gluten-free coffee cake? It's crazy.
So this is gluten-free?
Yeah, it's gluten-free. There's no wheat in there, so no bother. It won't bother your.
No gluten.
No gluten.
Mm-hmm.
There's dairy in it, but there's no gluten. Makita's gonna help me figure out how to make this actually gluten and dairy-free to see what we can come up with. So it'll be total vegan, I believe, if we do that, right?
Is there eggs?
You're right, but the dairy eggs are dairy, so we have to figure out how to do alternatives. So Pamela, if you have any idea, Pamela, pancake and baking mix, if you see this, if you have any ideas on how to help us create this to be totally dairy-free, gluten-free, that would be helpful. But it's definitely gluten-free right now. So today we're going to talk about as we eat and have good food. First, I want to give another shout out to people who help out around. My son brought some hot sauce from, what's the guy's name?
Lee McKenzie.
Lee McKenzie is one of his co-workers. Lee, we're using on the, I like that on eggs. I like hot sauce in the morning on eggs. It's a nightshade. It sometimes doesn't help out the joints as you get older, but the flavor that it adds to your dish is just amazing. So thanks a lot, Lee. Shout out to you, my brother. I asked y'all to join me because I wanted to cook for you, and I haven't had you at the table forever. But 3 of the 4 of you guys have participated in a protest. And at first, when I heard this people, when I heard protests, I got real nervous because, it's okay for everybody else to protest. But when it's your own children that you have protests, you get fucking nervous. And then I thought to myself, that's an interesting point of view. Because the very first protest I took my son to, I think he was maybe about 5. I think the girls were doing something different, but we went downtown because it was something about war. And we went down and protested that. And what stimulated this conversation that Halim and I had was that I had a concern about going down and do protests. And he brought to my attention yesterday that the protest is working. My piece is that I don't want to just use one tool. Dr. King did protest all the time. You like that, huh? Yeah. So we're gonna segue back and forth, you guys, because this is what happened is that we actually have sipping chocolate and cocktails this morning with what else is in this? Kahlua,
rum, Irish cream.
It's a morning drink, so as you know, this is how we do it around the table. We break bread and have fun and live life. That creates consciousness. So what happened is that Halim was telling me that it's working, and all I wanted I want to hear from them, and then I'm gonna share my piece about what I think can be added to what they're doing. But this is your time to tell me what you think about this, what's going on, why you taking action, why you not taking action, if you taking action, how you taking action, whatever you want to talk about.
Well, it's an interesting point you bring up from the perspective of being a parent. That's the first thing my mother told me when I told her I was going to be joining the protest is, she understood why I needed to, but in the same breath, she, vocalized how nervous it made her. My mother was born in 55.
Yeah.
And, and she knows the extent of how these things can go, and it's not just necessarily the police brutality, it's other groups outside that are looking to cause harm to protesters,
Did you see any of that while you were down there?
I didn't have any run-in with basically it's a white nationalist group, Proud Boys, that they occupied Portland. I didn't come in contact with any individuals from that group, but that was my main concern, just because those people more so, I've just seen from different things in social media, an officer actually just got, he's under investigation, seen giving these Proud Boys shelter while they tear gas protesters, and then while these armed, Proud Boys are in hiding, he wanted to make sure that it didn't look like they were playing favorites, and so while the protesters were running away, he was going to unleash them, basically, on the protesters. And, it's just these things that go on, that the media just can't even see because they're not really on the front lines as the people that are in these protests are. And so you're seeing a lot of footage that really eye-opening to what's actually happening down there. Mm-hmm. And as far as the police go, it was pretty unreal to me, just what seemed to be the lack of awareness of just life in general. Tell
me more about that. What do you mean by that?
So, for instance, the night I was there, once they tear gassed the crowd and they deemed it an unlawful gathering, however they put it, there's people running away, coughing, gagging, crying, can't see, they can't breathe, walking away with their hands up, just trying to get out of the city, complying with the orders that are being given from these loudspeakers of these police officers that are driving in 8s and vans, running around, chasing people out of the cities. But yeah, it's like on each side.
It's like a video game, huh?
It's like Grand Theft Auto. I honestly think some of them are getting off on it. They're people are running, with their hands up, telling people they're leaving, and they're popping more gas on them. This officer popped some gas at a protester that was walking away with her hands up. She was coughing, and not only did it miss her, it rolled next to a homeless man who was sitting there asleep. And they just had no regard for what
fuck was going on.
Yeah, the repercussions of their actions would be. And honestly, it's like they know that they probably won't be held accountable in their full riot gear. You can't see their faces. Some of these people are covering their badge numbers, and it's almost unbelievable until you actually go there and you see it for yourself. So, it's definitely something I want to go back and do still and continue to do, because it has been working across the country. A lot of different has been not being passed, but at least being introduced. But that's what I also want to get people to understand is they need to start using their voice and their votes, not necessarily on a countrywide basis, because it starts at the local level. You get to pick who governs your cities and your towns, your mayors, your attorneys, it trickles up.
Right.
That's how American politics work. It trickles up.
It doesn't trickle down, huh?
To the state level and then to the country level. So I just want people to be more involved in that, as well as using our physical presence as our voice as well. But we need to make sure that people are using their basically their rights in the way they need to affect the change you want to see in your states and your cities and your towns. So yeah, it's been amazing to be a part of. Hopefully it's going to be making a lot of these changes that I would hope to see in the world. I think that are very achievable. So
yeah, you want to see them in your lifetime. Like, you don't want to have to
my kids be going through this.
Yeah, do all of this, and then we revert back to what we started protesting for at the beginning.
So I want to hold on to that idea. You guys can jump in, but I'm going to go with that real quick. So what will it take? A lot of times people, so let me start off with this. I've been speaking to your grandfather, my dad, and he's devastated because he didn't believe in his lifetime that he thought that they did so much work in the 60s, in the early 70s, that they would not have their grandchildren the grandson having to go to a peace rally and their son having to keep the streets safe in Chicago. In the midst of your grandmother having dementia, my dad's worried about that. And then my grandmother can actually pick up, because we all are infinite beings, that something's going on. So she will call periodically to check on Helene, DW, Boris, Derek, and myself. Because energetically, she knows, even in the middle of her dementia, that something is actually happening. So she'll call in a panic state, because she knew before Sunday, when you were going to the peace rally and Derek was having to go out in the street, he sent the videos. Grandma woke up that morning, and that's how pervasive this energy is right now. So the other piece I wanted to ask people is that what would it take for you to be willing to be an allowance for everything and judgment of nothing? And what I mean by that, not that you kissing ass, not that you agree with somebody else, but that you gave yourself grace and other people grace. Because what Sam mentioned is that the police have lost their mind.
They've fucking
lost their mind. And they've lost their humanity.
They've lost everything.
Yeah. And they
can't believe that people are protesting racial injustice, and they're seeing us by the fucking thousands, and they're like, well, last night I went out, and one dude said, as they were gassing us, he said, wait a minute, there are 30 of us, there are 30 of them pushing us, and there are like 1,000 of us. He was like, why the fuck are we about to run? And everyone looked at him, and they were like, wait a minute, you're fucking right. So we stood in the middle of the street, and these motherfuckers not only started charging us, they beat everybody. I couldn't believe. I was like, well, I'm going to hold my fucking ground too. And here they came, full force, booking it, batons out. They were like, oh, you're going to hold the street? Bet, because if you swing on an officer, even though there are 30 of them, you're in trouble.
Right.
You just assaulted an officer, and I'm pretty sure that's like a felony class A.
Yeah.
The whole rest of your life is ruined, right?
So, yeah.
But we're peacefully letting you know that y'all are on some shit patch, and it's like your reaction is verbal threats first. There are kids in the crowd.
Kids.
Think about it. There are kids in the crowd. Adia heard it. There are kids in the crowd. Don't throw projectiles at us. You're cops in full riot gear. You're afraid of some water bottles flying overhead? You're afraid of a few water bottles? No one's throwing fireworks. You're afraid of a few water bottles? And then to justify really beating people up, they ran up on DJ at point blank range and sprayed him in the face with pepper spray and dropped him to his knees and then told him to get the fuck up and get out of there. And he said, well, I don't know how you expect me to do that because I can't see. Their response was, well, we don't care. Get the fuck out of here. You're a cop.
So I feel that intensity and it pisses me off when I hear this. I keep on asking myself, what else is possible with this shit? So my question is, okay, you guys know that I'm out there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really the fuck out there. And I'm going to stay with this, and I've said this before in front of other people. Ever since you guys have been kids, and Sam, you've been around forever too, I've always been a geek around sci-fi. I'm a fucking geek. I'm a 56-year-old geek with Avengers. I watched when Makita and Nadia allowed me to come into their Disney Channel and watch it. I watch the shit every fucking night. I believe that. I know. And Star Wars, when we were younger, I knew there was another possibility. And I'm so fucking ashamed to be a man right now. If this is what men have created on planet Earth, I do not want to participate with them anymore. If men can't create, and I'm not singling out men, I'm not going to do the separation. I'm not going to sit here and say, I know police officers, and I know, and people say, you can't say, well, please, no, motherfucker, I can say what the fuck I want to say, because I believe in magic. I knew one time that this was going to occur. And it was okay for it to occur until my children start to participate in it. And then I'm angry, and then I keep myself out of it. But then I have to go to the point of the magic. And the reason I said the sci-fi, what if you knew that you could not win, not lose?
I know we can't fucking lose.
So you cannot lose. And what would you be willing to create and choose energetically that nobody else has? The reason I have no problem because the youth in you should be protesting. But the magic in you, the wizards in you, the witch in you should be creating something outside this reality. The youth in you should be protesting. But what I said to you when you first went down there, you're taking a knife to a gunfight, if this is a Western. What energy are you in your magic that the police vibration is very low, very dense, not very bright. It's a gang mentality.
Yeah,
it's a gang mentality. I mean, and somebody from the outside who's worked in the juvenile department for 30 years, as of July 2nd, I can tell you what I see, which embarrassed me, is gang mentality. And no one using critical thinking skills to even ask questions to push back about what are we doing. We are part of this community. But I'm telling you, or I'm asking you, do you understand the difference between separation and limitation? This is a ploy like in the movie in Star Wars when the little dude, the green dude, Yoda, was telling Mace Windu that he was talking about something. We're not here to police this state. We're here to bring balance. I'm challenging people who see this. What is the balance that you are, that you refuse to be? I'm not saying I don't want you to stop being angry. I do not want you guys to fucking stop changing this shit. Because it would be a crime if I said that to you guys, all of you. But I'm demanding, as your father, that you bring magic. Magic outside of this reality. I do not want all of the people, the young people that I've had the pleasure of working with, and my children included, have been so fucking magical, and they stay in this fucking reality. You cannot win in this reality. I'm going back to Star Wars. How the fuck did they get the strongest Jedi to turn? They fucking manipulated him into emotions. They lied. That one dude, I mean, when I was watching the movie when you left, I was like, this dude was lying to him the whole time. He never appeared to who he was. He would come back when he was that hologram, and he was actually what? Sith Lord. And when he was the king, he was like, and he the chancellor, and he was actually, oh yes, and bullshitting people. Where are American people being duped by the chancellor of Star Wars in America right now, and create a separation of this limitation of the beings that we be? Where's the magic? You cannot logically get out of this. You can't even argue race because race doesn't even fucking exist. Dr. Du Bois showed that to us in the early 1900s. And he took his ass over to Africa because they got him out of here because they didn't want to talk about that. Because if you take race out of the conversation, now you have to deal with something else. That's how Malcolm got shot.
Colonialism.
See, for me, and when you say about going down there, I took you down there and I get it. I want you guys to do it. But next week, motherfuckers, find some friends. How many people you got on Twitter?
4,000.
Ask the motherfuckers not to shop a store. And ask them friends not to stop a store. Change. This is a capitalistic country. Fucking Eddie Murphy said in the trading business, go after their money. You don't have to take no blood. The police are paid by you all. Tell Willer, put something out of Willer on Twitter. Willer, you're gone. This is absolutely not acceptable. You're the chief person, you're in charge, you're gone. It's easy as that. But you have to stay in question. Because if you come with force with them, and when you see this out there, people say, he's angry. I'm not angry. Do not confuse my energy of being angry. I'm energetic.
Passionate.
I'm beyond passionate. I'm stepping into magic. I'm welcoming others to magic because this will not change people if we keep it in this reality. Because they're going to always win. They will set up things, even to the point you have to ask yourself, and this is the other piece, when you're down there, you have to ask, okay, now what are these other people, why all of a sudden, what was the gift of seeing those, what do you call them, the boys, the good boys, or Proud Boys down there? So you know they're down there. Why not take pictures of them?
People are.
Okay? And put it on blast. And what you have to do.
What they look like and who they are.
Yeah.
And
license
then
plates.
showing up.
License plate.
They show up
and
they're getting, they're on, so you know exactly who they are.
Yeah.
And it's a buddy I have, one of my good friends. He thinks people are taking sometimes too soft of an approach during the protest. And he's like, y'all are letting people show up, Proud Boys, and y'all don't even catch on. Like, he was like, expose them. He was like, expose everything. He was like, don't just go. And he was like, if you see them on some bullshit, because you can spot them from
right,
the
they see
way,
it, go home, like, can you believe I just like, they didn't do anything
take
there.
the picture, show, hey, this is someone who was not on the same agenda. They were there. Those are the people who show up. Okay, well, we're gonna throw all the water bottles.
So here's the piece about it. With that, that's prime. So with that awareness, what can you do different now? What will it take to start getting people out there that you actually use this energy? I'm not saying stop. You'll never hear me say stop. Magic is to bring balance to the universe. Always has been. What happens is that people have been taught and teased out of their magic to be just logical. That's this reality. Nothing that you know of that you really enjoy was created just purely logically. Magic was implemented. The cell phone, the video game, the airplane. It was somebody who had an imagination that could go beyond what everybody else was receiving. That is what's going to stimulate and change. And with the reality that do not believe the hype. The percentage of people feeling like that is not great. 30% of American people vote in the United States during presidential elections. 30%. Where the fuck are the rest of 70%?
They don't
and most
care.
of them, they don't care. And
So
so
like
now,
my vote doesn't matter.
so here's the piece about it. So now change, start throwing stuff against it. I agree. But that's just one side of the wall. When you go on an attack for something, if you watch lions hunt down an antelope, they surround the antelope. They run them into a certain pot, and when they run this one side, that lion just runs out, bam. Okay? What would it look like for people to step into their magic and bring a wall over here of protesting, a wall over here of using some type of magic tools of technology, of capturing people who doing things, start interviewing people?
You need to meet the nonsense.
Okay.
Lawsuits.
And here's the piece about it. And always remember, what would it take, I said don't remember, I hate that. What would it take to stay in question about what else is possible? If you stay in a question, what else is possible, you can come up with anything. If you go to a conclusion immediately, it's over. A conclusion is the end of the movie. What would it take to be able, what is this going to look like? Because you said earlier, you do not want your children to have this experience when they get your age.
My grandkids ask me.
So what would it take for you to actually create something? Because this, unfortunately, y'all, this has happened before. This happened in my lifetime. I was a child, but this happened in my lifetime. So what's going to prevent it from happening again? What are you willing to be?
We have to put our foot down harder than you guys thought.
Okay, but here's the piece about it. What does that look like? And that's where you start creating now. You don't wait for it to happen. You actually create it now.
It's networking.
You start creating it now. You don't wait for like, well, we're going to wait to this stage here. No. Some of the people might start doing it. So that's, you see what I'm saying? So the difference with it is, what can you learn from the opposition that you never learned before, that if you learn how to be like that you would actually manipulate a new difference, a new reality. Because what happens is sometimes people say that, well, I hate the Republicans. I don't like what some of the Republicans do. I'm going to say, well, I don't like what some Republicans do. But what's right about what they're doing that I don't get, that if I used it, I can change shit. You see what I'm saying? I would go to a Klansman meeting, not because I agree with it. I want to know what they think. I want to know what they be. I wouldn't be there trying to persuade them to do something fucking different. I'm going to be in question. Because once you stay in question of something, if you're going to be an attorney, you got to think outside of the realm of what everybody else is to get your person off. Okay? Questions? What else do y'all think? What do you think, Makita?
Well, the thing that's interesting to me, I guess, in all of this is just like in reflecting what everyone has been saying.
Yeah.
It just seems like we've been conditioned from the beginning of time to always, no matter what, it can always come back to you're forced, not necessarily forced, but it's like you're programmed. You have to make all these choices in life, you know? Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
No problem.
But so, I don't think people realize like how impactful the programming has been to where we feel like we always have to pick a side. There's been like this whole concept of division. I feel like that created where we are now and created this government. People are always like, oh, I'm a Democrat, oh, I'm a Republican, oh, I'm with the Green Party, what have you. You're always forced to put yourself into some sort of subgroups. But this is my right hand and this is my left hand, but they're both connected to one body.
Yeah.
It's their most powerful tool they have against us is division.
Right.
As racism.
Social construct.
Right.
Social construct.
I think it's because it's easier to try to understand something if you can dissect it and pick it apart.
Right.
Like when you're young, you're in kindergarten or what have you, they have you start separating blocks by colors, or you're separating this by number. No, you know what I'm saying? Like it starts there. So it's like, okay, these are the building blocks that we're giving you. This is how we're slowly programming your mind, but we're not going to tell you that it's programming. So you go through what? Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and in every grade, they're subtly introducing things, that
create what?
Fit their social construct.
Exactly.
So what do you have to be to get outside their social construct? What do you have to be and create?
Free.
I feel you.
What's that?
You have to create an awareness.
Free. Awareness.
You have to awaken people. We all have the same common enemy, but honestly, the oppressors of us as citizens, and this is the globe.
Right.
Every country has oppressors. It is their government.
Yeah.
As much as they work for us, they have found a way to get us so divided that we don't realize they're the ones stealing from us.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing they want us to do is unify. And it's, at the end of the day, is a capitalistic society. It doesn't matter. That's what people do. They capitalize on certain situations. And the thing that they don't want to do is make sure that we aren't up to what they're doing, which is honestly taking us all for a ride. So that's why to the bigger politicians, the globalists, they could care less who's in office. They really don't care about parties. They're all rich. It doesn't matter. We have to fight classism as well as, because like I said, racism is not the problem. That's a tool that was used by our colonizers to create this almost ever-ending division. Because at the end of the day, you break down the parties, you have all these biases that they've been teaching and feeding people over time. That's why some people just can't break out of it. It's all they've ever known. And so what we have to do is we have to educate ourselves on these matters, and then educate the masses as well, our peers, so they can spread the information. Because once we all come together as a body, then we take over what we want. You know, that racism doesn't have an effect when you have the means to govern and police yourself. You know, if everybody's on an even playing length and everybody's got their bread up, they don't care what's going on over here. You know, they don't care what you think about them. That's like I've got my financial status, my financial freedom. I've got where our people are policing our own communities. You know, you're at your city, your state level. It's more than just the legislate. We have to inform people, and that's what I think our jobs are, more so than the physicality, is to educate ourselves and spread the knowledge. Because the more unified we are, the more power we have as a people. You know, as the term says, we the people. We control everything. It's just we're blind to it because of these divisive rhetorics that have been introduced into our capitalistic society. So that's what I think is the biggest thing we can do is basically put people on game and show them we all have the same common enemies, you know, quote unquote. And it's the people that have taken us for granted, and honestly to see us as worker ants. You know, the wealth gap in this country is unbelievable. You know, the redistribution of wealth between all these billionaires that have so much money that they don't even know what to do with it. You know, there needs to be wealth gaps.
So can I ask you guys something? Because this is something that always hits me.
And I have a question too.
Okay, I want to hear yours first.
Is you?
Yeah.
My only two questions into kind of response to what you were saying, and I guess just for everyone. The first one is, do we really have to have an enemy? Or is that something that was made up? And my second question is, do we have to fight? Because that takes me to, I think I was talking to my dad about this. Y'all remember the episode of The Matrix? So Matrix 1, Matrix 2, there's like 3 Matrixes.
Yeah.
If we're talking back on that subject. And for me, like, I don't know, I really connect, especially just growing up, that was something we always watched. And I think it was the third one, really fascinating, where Neo is fighting all those agents. You know, from like the start of the movie, it's like, oh, we gotta go after
it's Mr. Smith.
Mr. Smith.
Yeah.
And the agents and all of this. And so it like was building up to that, and then he goes into whatever it is, the Matrix, and he's fighting all those agents, and it's like the ultimate battle, the fight off, you know? And he's like just giving all his strength, you know, and Neo is super strong. And then something just like clicks for him. And remember, he just lets the agent just
turn him.
And then
to defeat the dark side, you gotta infiltrate that bitch.
Why are we fighting? Why do we feel like we have this enemy? Like, why is that so pushed? Like, I don't get that. And I don't think people realize, like, I really don't think people realize, like, where we are. Like, when I just be sitting back thinking about stuff, because obviously I be thinking a lot, I'm just like, we are people on a planet. We're in the world, in a solar system. We're in fucking space. Like, if you think about that, that blows my mind. Like, instead, the biggest thing that you could think of or, like, be having issues with, like, I feel like these problems, they're crazy. They're ridiculous. Like, this life is a journey and it's a gift. And I think that people don't realize, like, what's going on. Like, I don't even know if I know what's going on.
Or do you?
Like, this, I just think, like, with what we've been giving, we're squandering it, and we're focusing on the wrong things. like, I don't know. For me, that's how I feel. Like, I'm just, like, in amazement. Like, when I be like, look at Earth. Like, I don't know, it's beautiful. And so I just feel like for us to be caught up on these aspects of life, and this is what's consuming our life, when this reality, I guess as you would put it, it's not going to go on forever. Like, the energy is there. The energy is going to go back out into the universe. But our bodies at some point are going to have to go, you know? And so I'm just like, with the time that we have on this earth,
shit that we're doing.
This is what we're choosing to give our energy to. Like, what if we could all put our energy together and just say, you know what, like I understand not everyone's gonna like everything. And me and Adia just watched a show yesterday. It's funny, it was a crappy show, whatever. But this girl was like, you know what I learned? She was like, you could be the juiciest peach in the world and somebody's not gonna like peaches. Like, you can't please everybody. Not everyone is going to like everything. And I completely can respect if you're like, I don't, you know, like, oh, I don't like this. Or like, I understand like people don't like certain people for whatever reasons that they have created or that have been programmed into their minds to think that they feel like they need to not like this person for some reason. And if that's your prerogative, then, you know, that's your prerogative. But why can't we be like, oh, you know, I'm not really messing with you. I don't like you for whatever reason, but I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to respect the fact that we both occupy the same space, this same energy, the same time. And we don't have to like each other, but we can still live in society and be like, I see you, I see your humanity. You see me, you see my humanity. We're not going to agree on things. But we don't have to it doesn't have to resolve in like, well, now we have to fight each other. We have to kill each other. We have to hurt each other. We have to pass these on to our children. Okay, this is what you need to be thinking. This is what you need to be doing. Because, like, children, like, it's shown time and time again, everything that's going on is taught. When you're younger, like, not everyone obviously has a great childhood, and that's unfortunate. But for many kids, like, you know, that's the best times of your life. You always hear like older people be like, dang, you know, when I was younger, I couldn't wait to grow up. And then you become an adult and you're like, dang, I hate adulting. Like, this is what we have to deal with. So I think like if we can get that aspect of and that feeling of like what it was when you were a child, when you were free essentially.
But were you free?
No, well,
I didn't feel free.
Yeah, and a lot of like African American youth are robbed of their
Talk about that. Like, and when I say I didn't feel free, it was like, for instance, you talking about that sorting blocks thing growing up. The school we went to, Holy Redeemer, and I think this is the whole systematic where the implants start on kids who are different in the neighborhood. It starts young, and that's the problem is you say freedom, and it's like me growing up from elementary school, I used to be free. When I was going to Smiling Faces Daycare in the hood on MLK, that to me, my freedom. I learned about black everything. I learned how to read, write, whatever, but black everything. We get to Holy Redeemer, I think I'm a smart kid. I know most things that a kid my age would know, and we get to Miss Windling, my first grade teacher, maybe second grade teacher, and that woman, and I'm happy that I broke out from those chains of feeling like I was being forgiving into what she told me at a very young age, but like the sorting blocks goes back to that. We're sorting blocks, and I'm watching all these kids who grew up in this neighborhood, who probably had just a tiny bit more of what I wasn't getting maybe from Smiling Faces. We're all in class, and she says, "All right, guys, it's time to sort blocks." That's thinking back on it, that's the easiest thing in the world. You put orange with orange, red with red, white with white, blue with blue, but I didn't know what sorting was. So I'm watching all these kids, but I've had these different morals of why I know not to cheat. And I'm watching them put blocks together, but I'm still not catching on. I ask her, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. And instead of being helpful and like, oh, yes, you know, you just need to take this one that looks like this one and put them together. She looked at me and couldn't believe I told her I didn't know what sorting was. And at that very moment, I'm looking at her and I'm watching her getting angry with me, and I'm a kid. And she came over and she, after trying to tell me multiple times that I'm not getting it because I work visually, got my hands on, she comes up and everyone's looking at me because everyone was done sorting and I was not. And she said, I don't know how you don't know how to sort, but you take this one and you put this with this, and you put this one with this one, and this one with this one. And I'm looking at her and all these kids are looking at me, and I didn't know what sorting was. And all you had to do was come up and say, well, this is what you do. These two are the same size, so we're going to put these two here. And if you find the ones that are this size, I want them all over here. That's all she had to do. But she came and made an example out of me not knowing how to do it in front of all of these kids that I don't know these kids. I don't fucking know these kids. We're new. And at that very moment, I gave in to thinking, well, I'll never, ever be able to be good at school because I thought I knew what I was doing. And now I don't. And I lived the whole rest of my life thinking that I'm not going to do anything in school because it started that young, and I believed her. I was like 8. I was 8. Maybe 9. Hearing her tell me, like, you know, and like it was just a constant thing with Miss Wendling. Like, I was always doing something that was wrong. And my parent-teacher conferences, I'd be fucking nervous because, well, what is she going to say to make me look like I'm this fucking terrible student? And as I told you guys before when I was telling you this, when I would tell you and Mom, you guys weren't hearing me. Mm-hmm. It was as if you guys were believing as well that I was the problem. And that ruined everything for me. Mm-hmm. Everything. And that's why I think that systematic bullshit, it really starts at the youngest age, because if you tell a young black kid in a neighborhood where it's not the best neighborhood that he's not shit and he's 6, and you see all these sadly other black kids who aren't shit, and the values that I'm instilled was, well, you can't hang out with them because they're not shit. And I can't afford to have my children end up like that or go to jail or end up in gangs or dead. But my school system is attacking me, telling me, well, I don't even know why you're here because you're not going to fucking make it. Like, I lived my whole life like that.
But can I ask you a question about that, Lane? Because your mom and I did respond to that. You might not remember. When we moved
to Emerson.
And when you went to Emerson, what percentage were you in the classroom?
I excelled.
You were what percentage? No, what percentage were you?
I was up there.
The top 10% of the class.
I was up there.
Right, but the entrainment was already implanted.
And you have to think, and that's the truth, because like there were times where like here I am trying to do papers and things with Makita's help.
Yeah.
Because I always looked up to Makita because Makita didn't fall into the system of them telling her, you can't do this, and her believing it, because Makita was just fucking, she had it. And my problem was you have to come show me. Mm-hmm. And it was like, that was like impossible. It was like, well, I don't want to fucking show him. He should just know already what the fuck he's going to be doing. So all these kids who grew up in that system, I'm being X'd out because I'm the black kid who doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but you expected that from me. Yeah. So, oh fucking well. And I lived like that my whole life, even at Emerson. Yeah, okay, I did all right.
No, you did.
But when I made it to Da Vinci, Miss Shumway had those same sort of tactics, and I would fall victim to him because I don't have confidence in myself like that, because growing up like that, when I finally got acquainted with white people, they brought me down. And so like all of my like encounters with white people as at a young age, for the most part, we're at Holy Redeemer. The teacher got fired for being racist. A bunch of teachers started getting fired for being racist. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure Miss Wendling was one of them. The music teacher was one of them. All people. I remember being in my music class, and someone picked me because they said, pick the best singer that you heard who was like really giving it their all. I'll never forget. Someone goes, well, John William Ashford. And she looked at me, and she looked at him, And she looked back at me and she's like, no. She's like, pick someone else. These are the things that I dealt with. And no one was hearing me when I had something to say. So I gave up. I gave up, and I always think about it, because if I could go back, I'd have been like, I don't need the approval of this bitch. And that was my problem. I thought being black, you needed the approval of white people, because that's how just the world was. We lived, that's just how it was for me. I was around black people for so long that when I got around white people, they were weird. They were just different, because they were like, whoa, fuck, a black person. Don't see many of them. So like, they're being weird and I'm not used to that. And they're on a level of like, well, I could get there. And like, here's the teacher really aiding to them. But when I need help, it's aggressive. So now I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to ask for help. And then the problem is she did her job. Well, black people aren't going to fucking grow up and be shit anyway. So now I'm not shit because I fell victim to thinking, well, she's fucking right. Like, I can't do this. And she doesn't want to help me. So I don't need to do any of this. There were so many of them. There were so many black people in the neighborhood that we grew up in on Killingsworth who were like, I couldn't even hang out with them. We couldn't go to the parks because at the time, our neighborhood was filled with fucking black people who fell victim to the bullshit. And they don't even live, the area's been gentrified, but when we were there, we all fell victim to that shit. Not all of us. The black women, they held a different stature of just being like up there. And like, we fell victim to it. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to shift gears with this for you, Elaine. Is it a possibility? You said something to me that, what did you know as a little boy that you didn't need to know about categorizing things to be different? What was the gift of you? What was the amazement of you that teacher was trying to kill in you because you didn't understand putting one thing with one group, nothing with another group. And she recognized that. And she wanted to devour that in you, because if you brought that, you were going to bring new hope to the universe. Wait, think about this. What, in a young age, I always knew that you were special. I think everybody's special. I thought that you had some special juice about the engagement.
Yeah, he came out of mom's stomach, grabbing
the doctor's hand.
finger.
So I knew that something was going to be different about you when you were born. What about the hard knocks of this reality has created the most magical wizard that you be right now? That you never bought into, that you never bought into the system, that you kept on pushing forward, that you never gave up. I'm amazed right now about your enjoyment of school and how you come back and how you start saying stuff in the papers that you write now. You're doing it. It's like you get it when you get it. See, in this reality, it's a measurement of time. There's no such thing as time. That's just a measurement. So you're no dumber or no smarter than the next person, because the wizard in you. I am proud to hear the story, because I don't remember hearing this story from you, but I'm proud because what you did at 8, you pushed back at a system of conditioning. Now, unfortunately, it saddens me that you had to take hard knocks with that. But you established a change in the universe when you decide, I didn't get this. Because you didn't get what's right about you not getting it, that you didn't want to have things be divided. You didn't want to do limitations.
Just growing up at Smiling Faces Daycare, it wasn't fuck white people. It was
all inclusive.
We're all together in this shit. And so getting somewhere where it was like, well, I don't want to hang out with you because you're black. It's like...
Yes. So what if you didn't have to give up that power? What if you were so here's the piece that I said to you once before. We live in Camas. Outside these doors now, we're in Camas. When I walk in Camas, when I first moved here, Tori and I would take walks, and I would take Sheba on a walk. And nobody said anything in Camas to me. I take it back. Our neighbor to the side always spoke. And met the dude who was a fireman down the street. And then there was one person who went to another school on the street. But when we walked through the neighborhood, no one would say anything to me. They wouldn't even acknowledge. I had this nice German Shepherd. Sometimes, people in this neighborhood talk to you because you're dog. Mm-hmm. We moved here in July. By October of the following year, Because what grade were you when we moved over here? 8th grade or
8th.
8th grade. So by October, something changed that allowed people to want to talk to me. And I made a comment to Tori about this. You know what that was?
Football.
All of a sudden, I got this superstar nigga in the neighborhood that's actually coming over there. Because I remember sitting in the driveway, you being nervous. I don't want to go there. And you went over there and you took people's positions at an 8th grader pretty much. Because high school hadn't started. And you went in there. And people, remember you told me other people on the team got upset because you were like, you said, put everybody up there, put everybody up there. And what did you do? You ran through them. Okay? So what happens now, you have this new game. And this is the story of America. This is America.